6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Unfortunately, back to work tomorrow, innit? So let's try and make the Sunday night a success and enjoy a bit of football banter and a little bit of transfer news as well. And the very interesting situation with Lyon and Paquetá. So we're going to try and, debunk what's going on with that and with their takeover and stuff like that. So before we get flying into it, please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy and you're watching for the first time. Please consider becoming a member. Link is in the top of the chat, 99p, 199, 299 or 499. It's completely up to you what you want to pay. Lots of perks as well. Please check out Glenn Middis, Coastal Carpentry and Joinery. Absolute fantastic guy. And he does great stuff. I've put out on Twitter and also in the Facebook group that I'm going to try and do a massive raffle to raise about £5,000 if I can. An Alan Shearer testimonial shirt signed, which you can see on the screen, will be the number one prize. 2 Kevin Keegan retro shirts signed home and away, and there'll be 6 of those crests to give away as well. I say give away to be part of the prize. So there'll be 9 prizes. Tickets will be available from £2.50, free for a £5 or 7 for £10. And once we hit the £5,000, we will do the draw. And then half of it will be going to charity. And then the other half will be going to do the podcast shed in the bottom of the garden. And that's the way we're going to try and do it. And we still have 4 of these to sell. So if you are interested, please, Twitter, email address below, whatever suits you. But enough of all that crap. Let's get the guys in. Good evening.
Hello.
Good
Evening.
PDP, thanks for coming on as always. Please check out PDP's channel. The link is in the description, so please check that out. So we'll quickly go through the chat. I've still got this bloody cough. We're talking too much. There's the link if anyone wants to become a member. Even though, be polite, enjoy the show, like, subscribe, and become a member if you enjoy your time here. Well said, Mix. And thanks for modding tonight as always, pal. Paul, very good evening, and to evening on screen. Hi, all, the new season is getting closer. It is. With every minute and every second, it's getting closer. Lots of hearts. Hi, Paul. I love it when they start talking to each other. Any good news on transfer front? It's quiet. Honestly, this cough's doing my head in. Clement, I hope. Evening, people, now bars. And that's just it. Just now bars. It's like, oh, I was expecting more there. Know what's scary? Wish I'd seen it before. Being on the other night, seeing it just after. Now that Gale is gone, we have 2 strikers in the team, Wilson and Wood. Yeah, it's a little bit scary, isn't it? Only one is Wood, ain't even a footballer. Here we go. PDP. All right, lads. Good evening, all. Please don't forget to consider subscribing, like the videos. Thanks out and about Rob. Check out and about Rob's channel as well. It's really good. He goes out and walks around the northeast and Northumbria and places like that. That's equal to a striker and a half in old money, and half of Wood is no good. Oh god. Not you, maggot drowner. Hi all, and Paquetá's medicals shortly. Hey, the idiots arrived. Evening, bars, guys, and the chat, and evening all. Right. We're not going to start with transfer news. We're going to start with the results. So we played Burnley behind closed doors, 2 games simultaneously. Obviously, a starting 11, which is what Hal was probably looking at for the start of the season, and obviously the misfits behind. We won the games quite comfortably, 3-1 and 5-1. There's some interesting performances, but before we go into the performances and that, what do you think of the results, PDP?
Yeah, it's another positive in pre-season. Just shows trying to get the lads fit ready for the new season, and it's a good positive.
Definitely
for the new season.
Yeah, it's what's that? We've only lost 1 game in 5.
Mm-hmm.
We've only conceded two goals, I think it is now, Gary.
2.
It's not bad.
But
3,
include
sorry.
both of them, 3.
3, yeah.
Including them.
Yeah, 3 goals. Not bad, is it, really, when you think about it?
No, they've looked... I mean, they still need more going forward, but they have looked dangerous at times. Miggy's had a good pre-season.
We'll come to that soon.
Had a fantastic pre-season. Anderson, he's done well.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep him for me. I wouldn't let him go on loan.
We'll come to all that later, just the results.
The results. Kind of. I think we've had a good pre-season. Kind of going into better.
There's still 3 more games to come as well. So obviously tougher games to come up tomorrow. We've got Benfica on Tuesday, then we've got Atlanta and Bilbao Friday, Saturday. How impressed have you been so far with the preparation, basically, and the results?
Very impressed. And shame we couldn't watch these Burnley games live, but seems the lads played well. And but the next 3 will be really cracking games. So Benfica, Atalanta, great attacking teams, great players. It will be very interesting. And Bilbao, they're always tough and strong. It will also be an interesting game and test before the season.
Yeah, I think
looking forward.
Looking forward to it. I think he wanted to play this one behind closed doors. I think he did want to start his 11 and not let anyone know what that 11 was. I think that's the only reason why he's done it. But obviously, they've shown the video of the goals. I put that into the Facebook group. The goals, some of them were really good. But let's have a look at the preseason so far. So look at Almiron, as you mentioned, Gary. He scored 4 goals, 2 assists. Willick with 3 goals. Even Richie's got 2 in assist. Wilson's only got 1, 2 assists. Bruno a goal, 2 assists. ASM a goal and 2 assists. Sean Longstaff 2 goals. You know, when we say we don't need a striker, we need a right winger, and you've got Almiron just tearing it up at the moment. I know it's not against great opposition, but do we really need a right winger, Gary, that badly when you've got Anderson, you've got Mickey, you've got Fraser's looked excellent as well, and he looked great in that pre-season game, breaking and releasing the ball at the right time. Are we that desperate for a right winger?
Personally, I think yes, still.
But desperate.
I'm a Miggy fan. We're not desperate, but I'm a Miggy fan. But I am still remembering it's pre-season.
Yeah.
The opposition hasn't been great, right? Miggy had moments last season, but he didn't assist enough. He didn't score enough. That's obvious. And I think he's going to start the first game of the season against Forest. I think he'll play over Fraser. But I still think we need a right winger for me because I don't rate Murphy at all. He's a nice lad, but I don't rate him.
I think it's time for him to go.
Yeah. And obviously you've got Fraser and Miggy, and Miggy's a bit hit and miss for me, especially during the season. And Fraser picks up some injuries. So, for me, we still need a right winger, but it's not desperate.
Yeah, it's not what it was where we were crying out for one. And PDB, I know it is just friendlies, but friendlies breed confidence. We've not seen Miggy do this regularly, and he seems to be a different Miggy now. Maybe how with the full training session with him, a full summer, we're going to see a different Miggy as well as a different ASM this season.
Could possibly, yes, if Eddie Howe's improved the likes of Joe Linton, Kraft, who says he can't do it with him as well and make him a better player. It's possible.
I mean, I think we've already seen it, aren't we?
Yeah, there you are. But it's now, can he do it for this new season? That's where you've got to be looking at now. Yeah. When it starts.
Yeah, definitely. Mauro, any other standout players you want to talk about on that list? I mean, Willick, for me, scoring 3 goals as well. I know he hasn't assisted, but that's what he's meant to do, box to box and arrive late and score goals. He's took his goals really well from what I've seen. Anybody else in the list as well that you like the looks of from pre-season?
When you look that on paper, Almiron really looks great, and Willock
does,
too.
doesn't
But when you consider both of them were the best in these 2 games against Gateshead and this against Burnley, which is championship level team now, and they got rid of a couple of good players. So I wouldn't say Almiron or Willock were that good in those 2 strongest games until now. And now, but maybe they got their confidence up, and we'll see them in these next 3 games. And who knows, maybe Mickey goes on fire, and we won't need to buy right winger in the end. But this will be the real opposition to see all of our strengths and all of our weaknesses.
Yeah, which is why I think we are waiting to get through these friendlies to see where the gaps really are, and then I think it'll say a lot. To be fair, we'll just jump back into the comments after looking at those stats. I think signing a proven striker may be difficult unless we offer in the starting role ahead of Wilson, which is probably not going to happen. Why would an acclaimed striker decide to sit on the bench without even the possibility to play Champions League football? I completely agree. I hope we sign an exciting young striker who can act as backup and grow within the longer term. That's what Ekateke was for, wasn't he, boys? He was meant to come on, potentially play on the right wing as well as playing up front, and grow into the team. But everyone
just got played about.
Yeah, exactly. What's up with Jamal Lewis? It's a good question. I actually
he's got an injury. That's why he's not been playing.
Has he? Yeah, it's a shame. Again, I mean, someone I would potentially move on, but maybe, I don't know. Can't go to preseason games as I'm fucking skint. It's a shame. Can't we actually find a winger who can score? Because Burnley was shameful. Well, again, I mean, it doesn't matter how bad the opposition is in front of you. You've still got to get in those positions, and you've still got to finish them. And everyone's ranting and raving about Anderson now, and that was against Burnley. Why can't we rant and rave about these other players who have been on the fringe and are now starting to look good? You can't have it one way for one player and another way for another. So if you're going to say Anderson should stay in the squad because of his performances against Burnley, you should be saying the same thing about the other players who have played well. That's the way I see it. It can't be, it's Anderson, but it's Miggy. He's been shit. It just doesn't wash with me, that one. Agree. Alan Brown, my Brojo and loan makes sense. We're going to come to him later. So, guys, can you see us signing anyone else before the season starts? I think 2 more signings.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think it has to. We're going to talk about that later. Martin, I hope not. I'll be very worried. We will sign some more players before the window shuts, but maybe not before the Forest game. But it's not. We've still got to fit Wilson right now, haven't we? So we're not in any rush
at the moment.
Sign someone. Elmer on the new Jackie Milburn. Ho ho ho! If that's your best chat up line, sweet cheeks, I will pass. I don't know who that one's on for, to be honest with you, but there you go. Yes, right wing is a must, same as a striker. It's not a must, not anymore. I'm hoping for Paquetá, even if only on him. I'd be happy, honestly. Would you guys be happy if we just signed Paquetá? Just him? Because he can play as a 10 and maybe a false 9, can't he?
I have to admit, I would like right now. I know that's a bit of a gamble, but you know how much I want Paquetá. And I think 95% of the fan base wants Paquetá as well. So I would take that right now.
Yeah, we're going to come on to it a little bit further down the line. PDP, what do you think of if we just signed Paquetá? Would you say that's a great window?
I think it will be. I think he's another piece of quality he could add to the side as well. Of course, he's played with Bruno at Lyon. He comes in, we look really strong in midfield.
Yeah. And the telepathicness that them two have together is something special. So this is why we want him so much.
Yeah.
Mauro,
are you on the same lines?
Definitely. I'm a big Lucas Paquetá fan, and I would take him straight away. I would even buy him by the full amount that they ask first time. But I understand the position of our owners. They don't want to. When you take one player above maybe possible market value, then everybody will ask more money from you. So I understand their stance, definitely.
Yeah, there is that, unfortunately. Yes, because when it comes to Premier League, these wingers can't score more than 2 goals apart from Saint. But again, like I said, forget about what Miggy did under Bruce. He got bruised. He looked good. If under Rafa. He's now looking good under Eddie in pre-season. Let's see what he does. I mean, we could wait till January to sign a winger now because we have Miggy, Fraser, and Anderson. So, you know, if it becomes a problem position, there is January to strengthen as well. So that's just my thinking. Again, everyone's open to their own opinions as well, and whether they think mine's crap. But that's my opinion given. Do we think a more progressive style of play allow Miggy to pose a more offensive threat? Well, we are going to try and play a high press, aren't we? So Eddie Howe wants to play that. Yeah, exactly. Benfica will give us a better idea of what we need. Need more power on the wings, more link-ups in midfield. Longstaff and Willock are getting better, but only for lesser opposition. I think Willock played well last season as well, never mind against what we've seen in pre-season. Patience, Paquetá and Bellotti are on their way, and let's hope so, Jan. I'll take them to any day of the week. Miggy has been constrained by defensive duties in the past. I agree. He was played far too deep, wasn't he? And I think even Howe realised that was a mistake. The only way Anderson gets in the first team is if he finds his goal-scoring eye. He wins penalties like he did as well, because that was fantastic bit of skill. Tried to do a Peter Beardsley against Portsmouth, dancing down the line and past the keeper and that, and then he got nailed.
Yeah,
exactly. It's only 11 men kicking the ball about. Football was a kids' game. Jumpers for goalposts, small boys in parks. It's more than that. Good, Bruno. Again, anyone on Facebook, you've got to accept StreamYard to show your name in your face if you want us to know who you are. It's a tough balance between getting a quality striker and not getting taken for a ride. We've been desperate for a proven striker for years. We've got Wilson. He is proven. It's just getting someone else alongside him. And that was the Fast Show. If you crazy kids were wondering, BBC Two, I was wondering. I used to love the Fast Show, but I can't remember that. Isn't it? Wasn't it? I know that bit. No, I'll come back to that. Oh, God, the comments are flying in. Need a Lamptey who can use pace to cross balls in and can track back well. Can't see Lamptey coming to us. Really can't. Or even being interested in him, to be fair, boys. Bellotti with a sign-on fee if he wants big wages. Paquetá and Bellotti. Don't you guys think Almiron was at his best when playing on the left under Benitez? Well, yeah, he was sort of like a number 10, wasn't he? Because he had Rondon, and then he had Miggy, then he also had, I think it was more of a 2 behind, wasn't it? With Perez there as well. So, yeah. But Barry Paquetá isn't leaving. There's 6 people looking at Lyon. And they can't sell anyone if you're integrating the takeover. Yeah, we're going to try and work out what's going on, to be honest with you, with that. Cashing on Fraser for me, maybe get 10 mil. I wouldn't cash in on him, to be honest with you. Buy Paquetá, get Hudson-Odoi and Killamondo on loan. That is within the budget. Looks like Manu are looking at Sesko. Might need to move on that if interest is serious. I've seen that today. That could be another Rekateka situation, couldn't it? Where they're using Newcastle to get the name out there.
Sounds like another shit-stirring agent.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't get much for our shite we need to get rid of. I agree with that. We're not going to get much for what we've got, but you'd easily fetch 10, 15 million for Murphy, to be fair, to a championship side or a lesser Premier League side. Do you think Sean Longstaff offers much when he's playing? I do. PDP?
Well, he's got to start showing it more since he signed that new contract, because there was a lot of that lacking from him a lot last season, and we were very critical of that. So he's got to really start showing that for the new season.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get much game time when he signed the new contract. He was on the bench a lot. I don't think he started many games after that, but Eddie Howe likes him. There must be something there, because he wouldn't have got a new contract otherwise. Gary, what's your thoughts on Sean?
Last season I would have got rid of him, but now I wouldn't, because Eddie's got his fingers into him and everything like that, isn't he? Got him playing again. Rafa got him playing fantastic.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
So maybe I don't know, maybe it's just a manager with a brain he needed, because Bruce completely bruised him. So I mean, I predicted that he would start against Nottingham Forest a couple of weeks ago. So it's either him or Willock. Willock or Shelby, sorry. So
Willock's
don't know.
form's looking good, isn't it? That's the only other thing. He scored 3 goals, so maybe he might start further up potentially instead of Miggy. I don't know. It's nice to have these problems, though. We're actually talking about players trying to fit them into a system and actually going, oh, right, well, he's playing well, he's done well, so why can't he start? Mauro, what's your thoughts on Sean?
I like Sean. He showed some flashes, but he needs to find consistency and maybe in a top level. But I think there's definitely a player in Sean. Yeah. So he just needs to find it to deliver on consistent basis.
Maybe sell Miggy for 5 million. Man, what are you smoking tonight, Joe Linton? Are you just carrying on from PDP show? At the end, I mean, that's 5 million. Jesus Christ.
Right, we'll come. He really released close at one point, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. Right, we'll go back to the chat later on. Let's go back to some topics. So I thought I'd bring this up from Joe Linton. I think it's just amazing to see and hear what's happening behind the scenes, because we would never have seen players come out and talk about, training or anything like that when Bruce was in charge. So Joe Linton on Eddie Howe, he's brought in a winning mentality to our team. He's very demanding and everyone needs to give everything. The boss doesn't like to see bad passes. That's just in training, let alone in the match. When sessions are tough in training, everyone is really competitive. It becomes normal to replicate that in games. Perhaps we didn't have the same intensity beforehand. So he's absolutely hammered Bruce there, hasn't he? And then Magpie 24/7, good guys. They're in our chat group. Put this one out from Shelby. In the past years, you go home and leave the football at the training ground. You just switched off. Now I'm going home thinking about what I could have done better at training. That's something the gaffer has installed in us all. And again, think he's noticed Bruce was shite. I mean, Shelby literally defended Bruce for a while, didn't he? Obviously been club captain as well. But go on, PDP.
Well, I think, he's not going to say out, is he, if Bruce was still there at the time. That's the thing. But now he got to the point, well, he's gone now. I could make the honest opinion, a comment now to that Bruce's training sessions were pretty much as useless as what a glass hammer was. That
is brilliant.
And 2.5 days a week as well. I mean, how's that going to get you fit for a game? Which was exactly what Bruce did.
Brilliant. Glass hammer. Get me a glass hammer, PDP. I love that. Mauro, what about you? What just the feeling around what the players are now saying? It's so nice to hear that they're being worked hard. I mean, they get paid a lot of money. They should be leaving the training ground tired, and they've got time to recover, and it gets them ready for, games on a weekend and a long season ahead of them.
A long season ahead, a very important season, and the way we want to play, high pressing and everything, you just need to have a full squad of fit players. But it's unbelievable how fit some of them look, because Shelby never looked that fit. He's really looking amazing, and not just him, other players too. So really looking forward to this season. I think it will be level up in the game than last season since Howe arrived. It will be interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Gary, what about you? It's just refreshing, isn't it, to see players coming out and saying lovely things, and not just lovely things, just the fact that they're being worked and challenged every day when they're on the training pitch.
They're just 10 times fitter than they were under Bruce, aren't they? I've never seen a team spirit like this since the Bobby. Raffle was great and all that, but these players are constantly coming out praising what a great manager Howe is. I've heard it from Fraser, Shelby, Longstaff, you name it. There's an endless list praising that man and what he does and how well he knows the game, everything like that. You can guarantee when we play Nottingham Forest, the first game of the season, we'll be 100% fit.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what we haven't been under Bruce. Yeah. It took 5-6 games to get started under Bruce. And even then we never got started. So,
and if you remember our first game against West Ham at home, wasn't it? We were winning that game and then we just ran out of legs.
They ran out of legs in the 70th minute.
Second half, we just roll over the place.
Yeah, it's horrible. Horrible to watch. Says everything that Bruce about Bruce that Longstaff said he fell out of love with football. Maybe a big season ahead of him. See, this is where Gary came in and said it's obviously a sensible coach with him. I'm not going to read that one out. Longstaff can't play alongside old man Shelf. Like it's
Shelby.
Shelby is looking fit as anything. I'm sorry, he's got a big season ahead of us, and we miss Shelby when he's not playing with his passing ability. Steve Bruce would fuck up a job as a butcher's. I love it. But yeah, I just love the idea of what all the players are saying now about the training and everything that's going on. And then don't forget the facilities have improved tenfold as well. So our players should benefit from all of that. Right, I did a poll today through Toon Polls. We're good friends. There's been no decision made on Anderson's future because there's a lot of people have been saying that he's going to get loaned out. That is not true. The decision has not been made yet. Howard said he's impressed and a loan move out of the club will be made closer to the start of the season window closing. Personally, I would like to see him stay. Has he impressed enough for you so far? And 64% said keep, 25% said loan him out, and 11% said not sure. So the not sure column, I'm guessing, is he going to get the minutes? PDP starred in that. When I say starred, we saw one clip which he won a penalty and he looked good against men's as well. They're one of the only players on the pitch who did. What's your thoughts on keeping Anderson for the season? Doesn't take up the squad number, remember, as well, which is a big benefit.
I would think he should be given a chance. He might not start the first game or few, but bring him on in the second half if you want to look for fresh. If you want to bring a fresh pair of legs on, give him that opportunity. I think he's looked really sharp. I think Eddie should look to give him an opportunity now, and all the fans are saying the same as well. If he's looking that good, he's got something, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. He really, really has.
Yeah, I agree. Mara, what about you on Anderson?
Yeah, he has a bright future, and I just like to see him play maybe in the wing positions too. He was great for now in central midfield. Just to see, because he's used to play more offensive while on loan. Just to see how he fits. Who knows? Maybe he could be the answer for our right wing position again.
It could be. This is why we're not desperate for a white winger in my eyes. Gary, what about you on Anderson?
Like I said before, 1,000,000% keep him. I think the 25% for loaning him out is people who are probably a bit worried about not signing a winger. That's what I think possibly is the reason for that. Even if they bought a winger tomorrow, I'm still 50-50 whether I would send him out on loan. Is the reason he's still looking at it in the minute because we haven't got a winger? I don't know. But I would still personally keep him because I think he's more of a threat than some of them who are there. So, and he's had a cracking pre-season. So, yeah, definitely keep him. You know what it is? If he doesn't get the minutes, right, and he needs more playing time, then loan him in January.
Do that was a great point. Someone made that on Twitter as well, and it was a very, very good point. The information I've got from the guy I know says Eddie really, really impressed with Elliot Anderson. He will be heavily involved over the next 3 games in the friendlies. So he's obviously really having a very, very close look at him. He's been heavily involved anyway. So it's all good on that front. And I would like to see him stay, to be honest with you. I really do. Right. Let's try and give you some information on the Lyon situation. Someone mentioned it in the chat about the takeover. So this is the breakdown of the shareholders since the 30th September 2021. I don't really understand it that much. I'm sure there's somebody in the chat who might understand it a bit more, but you can see there's a free float. Obviously, they're on the stock exchange, so they're not owned by one particular person, which makes any deals very, very difficult to do sometimes. So this is the information I was given by Andrew. Andrew's someone who works in the background for the channel and tries to get as much information as he can forward, stats and figures and interesting stuff. And the Lyon situation is very interesting because from what I heard, the Paquetá deal is done with the current owners, but there's new owners wanting to come in. But I've also heard from somewhere else saying that's a load of crap and that Paquetá's nowhere near done, but we're still talking to them. So who do you believe? I don't know. But this is the information. The current president is the one wanting to sell. Traxter is apparently the one wanting to keep. If not, Traxter does own the Brazilian team Botafogo, and 40% of CP is noted on Bar's show the other day. Nothing seems to have been reported on this takeover since June, so it's been a while since that's been updated, the shareholders list. The strange part is he'll be finishing buying out the current president over the next 3 years, but he is the majority shareholder and he believes he has around about 40% at the moment. So there's someone trying to buy out to get full control of the club, which is difficult to do when you're a floating club because you're not owned by one particular person. The agreement will see Traxter buy out majority shareholders, PAF and IDG Capital, who hold 19.36% and 19.85% stakes respectively, and a gradual sale of Holnest, the family holding company of Alois, which holds 27.72% of the capital. So yeah, where the rest of the shares, so the rest of the shares are floated on the stock market. So they're actually owned by you and me. Potentially we could own them. Anyone could own them. Hopefully. And then the rest of the shares are so 30% is treasury, with the majority of 30% being free float, not in finance, and no idea what that means other than a Messi until he owns 50%. So the guy who wants to take over is already in the club himself. He just wants to own more of it, but he's finding it hard to buy up all the shares. That's the problem. So it makes deals for players very interesting because he can't say no. There's someone saying yes. So we're in a bit of a limbo. The club's in limbo at the moment on whether they're going to do deals or not. So that's the information on Lyon. I mean, PDP, that's a bit of a head fuck.
You thinking, what on earth does that mean there? What on earth are they?
It's just mental, isn't it? It's just,
yeah.
I'm not good with stuff like this, but here's more information as well. Lyon thing gets even more complicated as there was a bond insurance that includes convertible bonds that mature, of course, on July the 1st, 2023, called Osrins. I don't know what they are. Each Osrins can be converted into 63-ish new or existing shares, plus extra shares, 28-ish new of existing share. Each bondholder receives 2.81 shares a year. So remember years ago, Newcastle put themselves on the stock market, didn't they? And everyone bought bonds, and then they got bought out at a cheaper price because they were going to liquidate the company online for shares. Right now, Wholeness plus the individual shareholders own 50.2%, and the other two entities that were sold 49.8%. So it's a complicated mess, is basically what Andrew's saying. God, there's so much he's written. But basically, it's a mess. So the Paquetá deal is difficult because of the mess of this in. So Gary, knowing all this, and it's all online for you to read, guys. If you wanted to go on it, you can go and find it. You just got to go on to type in Lyon business portfolio, and you'll find all this information. But knowing this now, Paquetá is going to be a difficult deal to do.
Well, you know how, when's this deal like going to happen, or does nobody know yet? When does this guy want? No idea.
Knows.
Right.
He's just going to buy it out over the next 3 years. He's going to buy all the shares up.
So the guy who wants it, who wants out fully.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Right. So that tells me straight away he's going to want the Paquetá money before he pisses off. So,
exactly. So the person who's pissing off wants to sell. The person who's buying doesn't want to sell. So
if it could take 3 years, well, it's not going to take 3 years for Paquetá. I'll just walk out the door by that point. Mind, it sounds an absolute mess.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, I don't really make much sense of it, other than I remember my dad getting screwed out of his bonds because the Newcastle decided to float, to sell off the stock market and wanted to be rather than a capital company, wanted to be a, whatever, PLC holding company or whatever you do. And that sounds like what this guy wants to do. He wants to own Lyon, but it's going to take him a while to buy all the shares.
I'm saying I can see this owner in charge selling Paquetá to get as much money as he can out of the club.
Yeah,
Mike Ashley would do exactly that.
Yeah, he would. Yeah,
exactly that. So if he wants to leave, he's going to try and get as much money as he can before he goes. Yeah. So in a way, it's a bit of a good thing that that's in such of a mess, because I can see him probably accepting the deal at some point.
Yeah. Mauro, what about you? What do you think of the whole situation? Do you understand any of it? Are you any good with that sort of stuff? Or
partly, but as you said, it is a mess. It's so complicated that I'm not 100% sure whether, as Gary said, the owner would like to sell Paquetá to take the money out, or whether potentially selling Paquetá and having money in the bank would rise the price of the rest of the shares. So then when he would be selling his share, he would get, but he obviously has an interest in that. And as Gary also mentioned, it's the player power these days. And if Paquetá wants out and they don't play Europe, and he probably sees us realistically as better option to play in Champions League in 1 or 2 years before Lyon, definitely. And so if he really pushes for it, I can see us signing him, because in the end, always players win, mostly big players always.
They do, don't they? But that's the Lyon situation, guys. I don't really understand it fully, other than it's a big financial mess, all to do with shares and being floated on the stock market and stuff like that. And this is the reason why we were so excited with the Bruno deal, because on the Friday they said they're definitely not selling them. The stock market closes, they hold their price, and then we knew Bruno was coming because of that. So it's very interesting. Right, this is for all the idiots out there. Should we call you idiots, but you are idiots, who think that the owners haven't done enough since coming in and since the summer. But if you look at that great guy on Twitter, by the way, you should all follow him. He's a nice guy. But look at all of that. I mean, they're doing their best to get rid of the dead wood. Hayden, Woodman, Clark, Hendrick, Gale, 5 out. They've signed Ashworth as a director, Target, Pope, Botman, Alex Murphy, McArthur, Hackett, all for the under-23s in the first team. A CEO in, Benton upgrade, St James's Park renovation, and the women's team has been upgraded as well. Pete, how can anyone sit on Twitter and tag our owners and say that they're not doing enough when you see all that?
Well, they're either just impatient, or they're just not really Newcastle United fans. They just want to troll people out on social media, because they've got no else better to do than just sit behind a computer, hide behind a keyboard camera, and it's just ridiculous, man.
And the worst thing about it, Pete, is that they're tagging our owners in as well. So even if they're not Newcastle fans, it just makes it look
just
horrible.
Trolls the keyboard warriors.
And I mean, Gary, it scares me a little bit that they're tagging the owners in, because they might think, what the hell have we got ourselves into if they're getting loads of grief? I mean, hopefully they're sensible enough to realise they're not real Newcastle fans, and maybe Mackems or something like that. But, I mean, when you look at that list, I mean, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of work done in a month, isn't it, really? A month and a bit.
Mike Ashley did that in 14 years. Right? So
he did less than that.
Yeah, he did. Just add a new Sports Direct things at the bottom. I mean, look, people are entitled to opinions, right? But to see our owners haven't done enough nonsense. Honestly, it's clear that they're not jumping in to buy players, right? Because they don't value them at a certain price. Tomorrow we could go out and sign Maxwell Cornet for 17.5 million. That's right wing sorted. But we're not doing it. Why? We could sign Saw for 20 million. We could sign, if rumours about Depay are true, 17 million. Why aren't we doing these deals? Because we don't think they're good enough.
Yeah.
We don't want that type of player. That's why they're not doing it. They're clearly waiting, just like they did with Botman. And I remember in January, people were going, "Oh my god, oh my god." Trippier, I think Trippier signed on about the 12th, if I remember.
He
14,
was the
something
earliest,
like that.
and then Wood was a couple of days afterwards, wasn't
Yeah.
he, or something like that. And then the rest were on deadline day.
Yeah, and people were panicking as well.
Yeah.
And because, oh God, we're in the relegation zone and all that.
Yeah.
But then Bruno came in, and then Target came in, and Byrne came in, and I can see the same happening again. And somebody made a good point as well on the radio the other day about, the World Cup.
Yeah.
You know how you get a 7-week break or something over the Christmas period. Well, that's going to take you quicker to the January market. So you see, his clubs aren't going to be in so much of a hurry to buy players in the summer because there's a lot less games up to January.
Yeah.
Because of the World Cup. And
this is what I've been saying for weeks. This is what I've been saying
I thought he had a good point. I thought he had a good point when he said it. So, I mean, I don't know, but how many games do we play in the league until the World Cup starts?
17, I think. 16,
17.
Yeah.
So there's still up to 38 games again, isn't there? There's 16, 17 games after that. So it's nonsense for me, but people are entitled to their opinion. Just don't tag the owners.
Yeah,
don't tag the owners. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mauro, put the list up for you again. Look at this.
Absolutely. Anyone who can see what a terrific job they have done is either a troll, as PD said, or Mackem, or just trying to push our buttons. But any real fan must be more than happy, because everything the owners have done till now have been top notch. You can't find a single fault in everything they did.
Yeah, I agree. There's another rumour saying that we're probably are going to wait till the end of the window to sign players, because prices might come down closer to the end of the window, because teams will get desperate. They need money to sell players.
Agents get desperate.
Yeah, so deals could be done very, very close to the end of this window. I know everyone wants them in before the start of the season. That would be excellent, but we might have to wait to get the right deal with the right player right at the end of the window if teams are desperate to sell. So it's very interesting. Right, we're halfway through the show. Very quickly do this. I've sent out, the little giveaway I did with the little badges. I'm still waiting to hear from Liam Blair, Eddie Contreras, and Gary Dunn. So if you're watching, please contact me, because I need your address to send out your little St. James's Park pinned badge. And we sent out some samples of perfume in them as well for you from Claire's Little Business. What else have I got to advertise? Oh, God, yeah, I've got to get rid of these. 4 left, guys, 4. And then we're never doing it again. The only chance you're going to get one is by doing it through my raffle that I'm going to be doing. So if you want to buy one of them, contact myself. Pete, do you not want one for your house? 40 quid, mate. Come on.
Oh, it's just thinking where to put it. That's the thing, because it's not a big place I've got. So but I'll have to find somewhere.
There's plenty of places I can think of. Put it in your bedroom, mate, above your headboard. Other than that, please hit the subscribe button. Consider being a member. The link's at the top. Please check out PDP's channel. As I said, the link is in the bottom of the, not in the bottom, it's right at the very top of the description. It's one of the first things you'll be able to read, and the link's in there. So please support PDP as well. And Mauro, you're going to have your holiday business up and running soon that we're going to help push for you. So any Geordies watching who would like to go to Croatia, there's a chance you could get a nice sweet deal through the channel with Mauro. So please consider contacting them about that in the future. Very, very, very near.
We'll have it soon. We'll have it ready soon.
Yes, can't wait for that. Right, let's jump back in the chat. It's just, there's so many messages, and I'm trying to think of where we are. It always jumps down to the bottom when I come off it. It does my head in. So I'm sorry if we've missed any. There's that many of them. We probably won't get through them at all anyway, to be honest with you. But I'd keep Anderson, but I don't see Eddie playing him a lot. We'd only keep him if we're going to play him enough. I think that's one of the things in the back of his mind. Bruce, as much as an ashtray on a motorbike. I still like the glass hammer. I've not heard that one for years. Can you see Matty Longstaff still being here? I can't. And there's strong interest.
No, I really can't as well.
Yeah, exactly. What about the lad who's back in Brazil, who used to play in Italy? Things were sounding positive about him a few weeks ago. Who we're talking about there?
Probably Gabriel Barbosa.
Yeah, Barbosa. I thought it might be him.
Mm.
Bruce as much as a pawn. Fart on the left is more tactical knowledge than the cabbage heat. I love it. I won a European Cup with South Shields Football Club in 1989. Wow, got knocked into a 5-week coma by a car, Honey 12. Not good, Ian. We have heard this before from you, so I don't know if you've got amnesia in there as well, mate. Is that Gabriel Barbosa? Yes, it is. I'd rather have Gaza with a chicken and fork wing than ASM. The lad has had his head turned. Of course, he has a nice head turned. He performed brilliantly in the game against Burnley. 5 subs. The game is going to get faster, especially the midfielders pressing even more, knowing they can all be subbed after 60, 70 minutes. I agree. 5 substitutions, huge.
That's why I might keep Anderson as well.
Yeah, exactly. Surely a Paquetá deal is already done between old owners. The deal needs to be seen through. Guy said about it the other night, though, if the block move, he would just force a move. Well, I'm sure he's handed in a transfer request. I'm sure
he has.
Yeah. That's one sounded like a great potential move. I'd get him and another younger striker for the future. So that's Gabriel Barbosa. Even guys want you to start putting bids in for Paquetá and stop waiting to get players. So that, honestly, patience, Tiger, patience. Any of you guys going to the first home match? Unfortunately, couldn't get a ticket for the Forest game. I'm at work as well, so
yeah, I'll be there definitely.
Pete's got your season ticket, so definitely. Any of you used tomorrow? Are you flying over for the Forest game?
Not the first one, but I will definitely be flying in this season.
I like the sound of that. Gary?
No, I'll not be at the game. I had a season ticket for 20 years, but I had to give it up a few years ago because of family reasons. It wasn't Ashley. I was going through the Ashley years for watching his dribble for years, but I was because I'd love to get back there at some point, but it's difficult at the minute. But no, 20 years from 16 I was.
Yeah, I had mine a long time and give it up because of I went to Australia. I give it up, got it back, and then because of Bruce.
Yeah. Bruce.
Yes, Joelinton, I'm lost as well when it comes to Lyon situation. First game will be a bit of a hype from USA. I'll be there in spirit watching on the telly. Nice one. Just hope our prior dealings with Lyon for Bruno put us in a good place to strike a deal and hopefully movement in the next fortnight. That would be nice, wouldn't it? What is amazing this season can get a Brazil shirt that fits me, but not a Newcastle one. I wonder if loads of us start going to the match in yellow, like Castori and Adam Staveley get the message. I don't think it's anything to do with our owners. I don't think they want Castori. It's just we've been lumbered with them because of Bruce. And I can see them being ditched by the end of the season. I really can. Who programmed that fucking supercomputer? We will not finish behind Brentford, Villa and Palace. I've not seen that.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Is it terrible?
Yeah, it basically, I think it might even have been 14th. It was 13th or 14th, definitely. But
really,
yeah. I don't know how the supercomputer works, to be honest. But,
works on spending, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Trexler's also a record to be anti against state-owned. Yes, he is. Yeah, there's Andrew, quality lad. I think that's the right Andrew. What it is now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. 200k on Lingard is not a good deal for us. Definitely not. I believe that our tactics to up the price don't fall for it. Exactly, we don't fall for it. We still have 28 players on the books, and we need to get rid of another 5 to bring us down to 23. Then we can send a right wing and striker to name 25. It's harder than some people think. Exactly. Oh, David Watson, thank you so much for becoming a member. That was just completely blown up there. Also, if anyone else would like to donate to the channel tonight, it's completely up to yourselves, but the dollar signs in the bottom right-hand corner. All the money goes back into the channel for prizes to help running costs, because StreamYard costs money and the shed in the bottom of the garden costs money. And we also try and give money to charity as well, which we've done up to £877 so far this year to charity. So we're very proud of that. And we're going to try and make it easily 1,000 and maybe more when this raffle gets done. Our owner hasn't got Twitter.
Mia Dad
does. Stavely does. Jamie Rubin does.
Yeah, Mia Dad does as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's enough of them on Twitter that causes a problem in my eyes with people tagging them in all the time. Definitely just shit stirrers. Yes, you can swear on this channel if you want to as well. We do keep it to a minimum though. I'm not on Twitter, so everyone by the chat. Love it. We should have won the league, FA Cup and Champions League by now. It's simply not good enough. Nice one, Mark.
Yeah,
I love it. If Paquetá becomes available, I think we have the competition for his signature. I don't think there's any competition. I think he comes straight to us. Tag owner is madness, but I understand the frustration. I thought we would be spending most money of all Premier League clubs this window, but this is a 5-year plan. The next one says, Michael, well said, 5-year plan, not a 5-month plan. The owners will have people to deal with their social media, so most things won't be seen by them. That's also true. You know, I keep forgetting they've got millions of followers and I've only got 5,000, so you know it's completely different. We just need that marquee signing. We could get it. We could still get it. Why do we need a marquee signing for a Dolphin? That because it's exciting and flashy. It's not because of that. It's just to sell shirts as well, isn't it? I know it sounds daft, but like I think it was Joe Linton said it quite correctly a couple of shows ago, is that you buy marquee signings not just for the team, but it's to build the brand. And the brand is so important to get the FFP up. So that's another reason why. That's why a Neymar would be an amazing signing, because the brand would explode so fast. It would be hard to control it. But you might not be the best person to be in the dressing room or to be on the pitch, but you would be for a brand perspective. There's all that to consider as well. I don't want a marquee signing. I have never seen a Big Ten play football. One thing to say to these stupid fans is Rome wasn't built in a day. Exactly. Right. Let's jump on to the next topic. Harvey Barnes. So Mr. Barnes has been touted at 50 million. So there we go again with this hyped up prices. Newcastle have come calling, let's slap 50 million. That's why we slapped 75 million on ASM when Chelsea and Spurs are apparently interested, because if they can inflate in prices to us, we can do it back to them. PDP, I think he's worth about 35, 40 million. I think he's quality, he's young, he's English, he can change games, he's a great winger. I would sign him up straight away, but not at 50 million.
Yeah, I agree. Round about that price, not 50 million. He is a cracking player. He really, really is. He's got bags full of talent, him. Like, he really, really has it. I've seen him in action, and he looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared to say that Leicester are actually a team I would really enjoy playing, you know, because of the players they've got, him, Maddison, you know, Vardy. They're all quite quick and clever. So I watched a lot of Leicester last season. I did a few watch-alongs for them as well because I enjoyed watching them. And they're always good for both teams to score in yellow cards as well with that Shunchai. Gary, what about you on Harvey Barnes? Are you a fan if we're getting for, say, 35, 40?
I'm sure somebody looked at my messages a couple of weeks ago because I mentioned Harvey Barnes 2 weeks ago. He's a fantastic player. You know, he's one of those that would come in and the crowd would absolutely love him.
Yeah.
He can score with both feet. Did you see that goal he scored at Sheffield United? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Honestly, he's not worth 50 million, but God, I'm like, if we could get him for 40 million, I would snap that up. He's a fantastic player.
How much do you think he's worth? Would you say around about the 35, 40 million mark?
Well, if Jack Harrison's supposedly worth 35, he's better than Jack Harrison. My personal opinion. Personally, that's what I believe. So he must be the 40, 45 mark. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. So inflated prices and all that. Skamaka went to West Ham for 35 million. Barnes is English, so 40 to 45. I would pay it, mate. Honestly, I would pay the money for him. I would.
Right. I would, to be completely honest with you. Absolutely massively. Mauro, what about you?
Harvey Barnes is a cracking player. Maybe 50 million is a bit too much at the moment for the number of games he played in the last 2 seasons, but he's a cracking player. But that's the reality with English players. You always have higher prices. So you have 50 for him. You have Everton asking 50, 60 for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and you always have to add some. And then when you consider Diaby is probably worth around 50, and Kunku will be available next season. That is release clause, but he will be available for 45 million euros. And as much as I like Harvey Barnes, as I said, he's a cracking player, but Nkunku is one of the best players in the Europe at the moment. So when you buy English, you always have to add 10, 15 million on top of some estimated value.
Yeah. I mean, it's English tax, isn't it? And then the Newcastle tax on top of it. It's difficult to understand what a player's actually worth these days.
I think Leicester need some money, though, don't they? From what I've heard.
I think they do. I've heard that as well. And I'm a bit surprised because their owners aren't particularly they're wealthy, aren't they? Yeah,
they're wealthy. I just think they've put a lot into the club, and then they've bought a lot of players. So I think, I don't know what's going on at Leicester at the minute, because I thought Tillmans would have been away by now. But
yeah, me too.
There's no sign of him going either. And have they bought anybody?
No.
No.
That's why I don't think they're going to have a great season, because they're not buying anyone.
No.
Very quickly, thank you, Jan, for that £2 super sticker. That is absolutely very generous of you. And there's David becoming a new member. If anyone else would like to donate, bottom right-hand corner, $, smash it, and then anything from £1 upwards is, it helps us massively to keep this channel running. You'd be surprised at how much it does actually cost, but there you go. Enough of that. Harvey Barnes is a definite yes from all of us. It's just whether we can get the right price. I mean, there's rumours Jack Harrison, Harvey Barnes, and someone else we're looking at, isn't there? So we'll just have to wait and see. But here's some ballers for you. I saw this on Twitter. If you had to pick 2 players out of that list, PDP, on a free transfer, and it was possible, who would you pick?
That's wow. Belotti would definitely be one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one's a hard one. Wow.
There's your striker. So that kind of rules out Costa, Mertens, Suarez, because you don't really need another striker, do you?
I think
Cavani as well.
I think Suarez would be asking for ridiculous amounts of wages a week. Wow, the other one's a hard one.
It is, isn't it?
Wow.
I mean, Cavani would be, Isco, yeah. Cavani, I love Cavani, but just his age. Suarez's age as well, I suppose. Gary, who would your 2 be?
Belotti, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm torn between Mertens and I'm not even going to attempt to name the second one down.
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt it either.
No, but I
Grealish,
sort of,
I think.
Yeah, briefly know him. I've briefly seen him play a bit, and he's not a bad player. The rest of them, I've got where Suarez will want a fortune. Cisco, I want Paquetá, so I'll rule him out. Costa, I would have took Costa in January, but not now. And Cavani, you'll probably want about £300,000 a weekend. So
not at his age now. I think he would want a sensible amount, to be fair.
But
Belotti and Grealish.
Yeah, that's
how you pronounce it. Mauro was sniggering there because we got the pronunciation wrong, and he's going to tell us how to pronounce it properly.
Which one? Grealish?
Yeah, is it Grealish?
I always Grealish. Yeah. I always liked Zagadou. He's for me great centre back, but that's not our priority position. So now, if I had to choose 2, it would be either Belotti or Cavani for a season.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I would take Cavani and Isco. I like Cavani.
I think Isco would be on high wages. He already
forget about wages. Just if you could pick 2 players off that list, you would definitely go Isco.
Do you know what I don't get about it though is Belotti. I don't get why he hasn't got a club yet.
I think he wants to stay in Italy. I just don't think anyone's took a fancy to him for some reason.
But there's rumours coming out that he wants to come to the Premiership.
So if that's true, then there's a lot of teams who would want to sign him. You would think.
I don't. He must. I don't know. He's either waiting for something or I don't know. He's not in a hurry at all.
I think he wanted to go to Milan at the start, and it's possibly because of their takeover situation, wages or something. So maybe now he gave up that, and maybe he wants to come to England.
See, I mean, I would have picked Cisco as my second pick, but I see him as in the Paquetá mold, so that's why I didn't pick him.
No, that's
Oh,
fair
Me
enough.
too.
I'm just thinking, just purely off that list. Forget about anything else that's going on.
All right.
Who would you take? Sort of thing. That was the idea of it.
Cisco and Bellotti.
All right. I still like Cavani, me though. I don't know why. Transfer football transfer. They're a good little group on Twitter. I've got a very big following. Newcastle have made inquiries for Rems, Kilamindin Salumana. You would have known from my last video, we mentioned this guy from RB Salzburg. And not from RB Salzburg, but the striker Cisco as well. All being mentioned on our channel through our source. And obviously it's now breaking that there is interest, there's inquiries made, but that's it. There's no bids, there's no nothing. PDP, it's getting a little bit boring here and that, isn't it, though? It's just like inquiries made.
It is, isn't it?
It's like,
that's the thing, hi. So, but you never know. If it's going quiet, there could something good maybe be happening. You never know.
Could be. It's nice to hear that we're looking at players like that, though. Gary's still looking at the young strikers. It's just, we've got to make our move soon, though, haven't we, for a striker? Yeah. I don't mind waiting for a right winger, but the striker needs to be done soon.
Nah, we desperately need one. If Wilson's been promised like first team and he's the number one, then I can't see. I mean, people think Calvert-Lewin and all that will come back, and he's not going to play second fiddle, is he? So I can see them signing a young striker, and one of them two will fit the bill. Or the other guy from PSG, another name I can't pronounce, but that young lad who Leeds have been linked with the last couple of years.
Calimendo.
Yeah.
That's him. I can see a young striker like that coming in.
Yeah, I can't see Dominic Calvert-Lewin wanting to be second fiddle, but I mean, he's once away from Everton, though, doesn't he? And we're the only club that's really seriously interested in him.
I tell you what, Everton bugger off for £60 million. Like, absolutely no chance would I pay that.
No one's paying that amount.
No, bugger off.
Exactly. Mara, what are your thoughts on those two young strikers? Which one would you prefer?
Calimendo looks really good, and in a way very similar to Ekitike, who was the original plan. So I think that's the plan. Have a young striker, keep Wilson as the first choice, and somebody to rest him a bit and to keep learning from Wilson. And in a season or two, he can become the main one.
Because I did the stats on who was it again? It was on Kilamondo and Cisco, wasn't it? And Kilamondo came out on top with Isak. Sorry, came on top, didn't he? And then I threw up all the stats for Zapata, and everyone was like, "Oh, let's have him instead." Love it. Right, last little picture. So this obviously Paquetá. We have been talking quite a lot tonight. Arsenal, apparently, I really like Paquetá. I'm a big fan since a long time. But as of today, the reality is that there's not even a conversation to sign him. There's nothing, as we've many players in that position. That's it. Can't see it anymore. I mean, Arsenal do have a lot of players in that position. So buying Paquetá doesn't really make sense, does it? And there's loads of Arsenal fans won't be happy knowing that they're going to lose out to Newcastle again. But that's where Paquetá is. I honestly think, we've got a very good chance of getting them. It's just got to bide our time with it, unfortunately. Right, let's get back to there's loads of comments again. It's a bit of a nightmare. We're going to try and fly through the comments because that's all the... All right, let's go to the transfer stuff, actually, that I got off... I'm not going to say HP or Source or anything, just the guy I know. Right, basically, this is the start of his message, and I knew it was going to happen. Nothing major. All quiet because the squad being in Portugal. I've been told nothing will happen till next week. Next weekend, they're ramping up their game. Still interested in Isaac, DCL, Harrison. All prices are high, though, which is obviously the problem. We have held talks with Paquetá's agent, but it's definitely not a done deal. Whoever's saying that is wrong. So whoever I got the information off from, the other one is saying that the deal's not done, and we're still talking to them and trying to sort it. And going through all that information about the stocks and shares and stuff like that doesn't really surprise me now. Free agent Bellotti is now wanted by Eddie. We are in the running along with 4 other clubs, one to watch. Broja loan deal still on the table. Apparently West Ham have pulled out. As we know, West Ham have pulled out. So obviously Broja is still as of interest. Belotti is the main striker at the minute. So we've gone from Sesko to Belotti being the main striker now. And as I mentioned well before the start of the show, Anderson is definitely going to be heavily featured, and they're unsure of whether they're going to loan him out or not, because I think they're going to keep him. I really do. Right, let's get to the chat and see if we can hammer through some of this. Some people have short memories. Yes, they do. Bazza, they're probably on Magnums, SMB, Divies, 2-1, Accrington, Stanley. Yeah, they keep getting beat every week, don't they? It's great. Next transfer. Well, no, they're going to go straight back down again.
Yeah, they've just signed the original players they had last season. That's all they've done.
It's crazy. So, next transfer window and definitely follow the World Cup. Maybe a good idea still to be able to spend in Jan. Oh, definitely. I mean, I don't think FFP is too much of a problem. I think it's the high prices that were being quoted at the moment. And FFP could become a problem if we try and buy them all. So let's just wait and see. But I think January is a good time. Next summer is going to be huge. Bottom will be amazing. I'd say he's a massive signing. On next most expensive centre-back is Byrne at 9 million. Huge upgrade and shows where we're headed. Exactly. People forget this. But as you think of how loses the first couple of games, the pressure will be on him.
No.
No, I don't think so. Pete, you said no. Gary?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I think you'll get the trolls, but
yeah,
not the full-on Newcastle fans now. No.
Yeah. Definitely not. Mauro?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think if he loses the first 10, then there's something not right, but not the first couple. Anyone saying the owners aren't doing enough for Clueless and not true fans? True fans see the bigger picture. Agree with that. God, there's so many comments. The team has improved since the strong performance we saw in 2022. If management are unable to sign players that will improve the team, I am happy, even if that marquee sexy player doesn't arrive. That's kind of where I am at it now. I am actually really happy with what we've done, where we're going. You know, 1 or 2 signings would be really nice. But even if the window shuts now, it's an 8 out of 10 for me. You know, a 10 out of 10 would be another striker. And then another one on top of that would be like a 12 out of 10. Don't put the sign above your headboard. When the headboard is rocking, don't want to hit your head. You just got to make sure you pin it to the wall properly. The new owners have to sort out the background problems as well as the playing side. Ashley must have underinvested. We did, and we know we did, Derek.
Massively did.
Yeah. Mauro, trophy flicking fans to Croatia, laugh aloud, we'll make a fortune. Imagine when if we get to Europe and we'll play against a team in Croatia, Mauro, you're going to be like off the hook on the phone, aren't you? Everyone's going to be like, I need an apartment. I can see there being being a signing that no one sees coming, like a Will Zaha. I don't think Zaha will come, but I get what you mean. Berardi, right wing. Do you think we'll keep the same formation? It looks like we're keeping the 4-3-3, doesn't it?
Yeah, so far doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I think we will, yeah.
Opinions on Adam P. Adam's a great kid. We had our little run-in due to the box and stuff like that, but Adam's doing what all of us would love to do. Had we been in it, yeah, exactly. If we were in his position, we would love to do what he's doing. Yeah, traveling around, watching games, making money off it. I mean, come on, it's a dream come true, that, isn't it?
I would do exactly the same if I...
Exactly.
Honestly, I would.
If all this was around...
If I could, yeah.
20 years ago, I'd want to do it. So Adam does some good stuff. It might not be for everyone. It's not everyone's cup of tea. He doesn't do live shows. He does videos. You either like them or you don't. And I say crack on. Will Darren Eales find it difficult to attract favourable commercial income because of the tie-up with Saudi Arabia? I don't think so. If the UK government can deal with Saudi Arabia, anyone will deal with Saudi Arabia. Trust me. Don't get why you get stick. If you don't like what he does, don't watch. It's quite simple, really. No need for the abuse he gets. A lot could be... I think it is just jealousy.
Yeah, it is.
And, I mean, sometimes his videos are a bit stupid. I mean, come on. Adam, the force... I mean, what you're playing at, mate. But I get why he does it, because it is quite funny and people will watch it because he is who he is now. And, you know, good luck to him.
I mean, he travelled some miles, didn't he?
Exactly. Every home and away game last season is incredible to do.
Actually, sorry, I'm changing the subject here. Did you know Ashworth's over with the team?
Yes, I did.
So when they're comment before about things will crank up next week.
Yeah.
Maybe that's got something to do with why is Ashworth over there at the minute.
I think he's over there working right next to Eddie to see the training, to see where they feel they're missing, so they can go back to the drawing board and pick out the players they need. Beanbag managers playing themselves on Twitter should try playing outside for a change. If anyone's complaining about our business pre-season, see Chelsea. Why get a Marquee signing when we kind of get the shirt?
It's got a point there, to be honest.
Very, very true.
Oh,
J7 said we need to sign more Brazilians. Less than suitable hint, I think. Yeah, 2 Brazilians, Barbosa and Paquetá would be good. Yeah, I know. And Castoria, terrible, Andrew.
I think the third shirt fits more comfortable than the home one.
Does it?
I would say it does.
That's crazy. I love the third shirt though.
I do, but it fits more comfortably in the home one.
Well, I'm a large, but I've been told if everybody you get an extra large.
Yeah, that's what everyone's told me.
I could get in the 3XL, but it's just mostly around the arms where I can feel a little bit. But
I bought my home and third shirt from the Antichrist Ashley. Oh God, yeah. Mike Ashley's selling them in, so you can get them a bit quicker, I suppose. 30 million for Barnes. That's what I'd pay. I think he's worth a bit more than that. Diaby or Barnes for the same money? Ooh, good question.
Oh, wow, that's a hard one. Diaby's cracking, but Barnes is cracking as well. Oh, it's a really hard one.
Oh, next on the line, who are you taking?
Funny thing is, I'm looking towards Barnes because he's got Premier League experience, where the Diaby hasn't played in the Premier League yet.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably just have to go Harvey Barnes because he's got Premier League experience.
Yeah, I get that.
But Diaby hasn't played in the Premier League. And
tough, isn't it? What about you, Gary?
Diaby. And I'm a big Barnes fan, but Diaby. He's that type of signing you could bring in and just turn it on like a seller or somebody like that.
True.
Honestly. I'd go Diaby.
Also Diaby. I think he's more of the player we need. So he's quicker, he's more direct, he scores more. Although Barnes is a really attractive player, but as far as I know, Barnes has never played on the right wing, right? He always played the left midfield or the left winger.
That's interesting.
I think he never did on the right.
I would go Diaby if he can replicate his form in Germany, because his goals and assists were outstanding. But like Peter said, Barnes does have that Premier League experience and he doesn't look out of place at all. He looks like he could play for a top 4 team. So it's a difficult one, but probably edge towards Diaby just.
Who do you think Eddie would pick?
Ooh. I don't know.
Because I'm thinking Barnes.
Yeah, because his Premier League experience. And any fan with common sense would realise we don't have enough firepower to reach top 8-7, but we're the 4th best form team for 6 months. I just don't get it why people don't remember. Unless the development in their ground might need money for that, potentially. I take Maddison. He's worth 50 million. He got 17 goals last season. I'd take Maddison any day of the week. I just can't see him being sold. He's too valuable to Leicester. Comfortable top 10 suits me this season. Yeah, anything between 10 and 6 for me, I think we could finish. It's all up for grabs. Leicester have to deal with FFP like us. It's fine having rich owners, but it doesn't help if you can't spend the money. Exactly. Go back to that comment, won't we? We might have the richest owners in the world. We're not the richest club in the world, unfortunately. For 10, England, expensive country to live in. Never mind the price of our players. Yeah, it is getting expensive, isn't it? Leicester do need to replace a lot of people. I wonder how Arsenal are getting away with their FFP or spent 370 million in like 3 years. Well, it's 3 years, isn't it? I suppose that's why.
Okay, next season. I still think next season's going to be Newcastle summer, right? Because the sponsors will be in and all that. Arsenal will probably not spend a penny next summer because they're probably potentially getting closer. You could probably say one signing coming in or something like that. They've spent a lot of money on our tenor.
He's on about a massive stadium. Naming rights and shirt sponsors at the arse. This is the one thing that might happen with us in the future. Obviously, big sponsorships, but the stadium might get put out for sponsorship as well, to be fair. Drew Martins has got a lot of goals, and Cavani. Cavani's got a bit of Premier League proven as well. For one season, he could be all right as a free transfer. Those names have been mentioned a few times. It seems to be a nightmare to deal with. Talks broken down already with 3 clubs from what I've seen.
I think Leeds were interested, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they were. Direct and very, very quick. You can orient for that. He left-footed, but I take Sagadou, young centre-back, gets his injury sorted, be a shrewd buy. But we don't really need a centre-back. This is the thing. Cavani was class on FIFA. I love it. Suarez over Cavani. We already have Wood and Wilson with similar playing profiles. Maybe. Barnes worth more than Harrison. Yes, he is. In light of this vaccine lunacy, do clubs have to take in consideration if players are vaccinated or not, e.g. not being allowed to travel to different countries due to the effect of their price? It's a good question.
It's a good question.
I don't know, but not in Europe, so it doesn't really come to us. Maybe when we're in Europe in the future, then one year for him, why not? Don't have to be vaccinated to enter the UK. Exactly where okay, but it's like going out of the UK to Spain, Portugal, Croatia, and all them lots. And aren't we putting a bid in for Sesko? We don't know if we are, but could be. My God, there's so many comments. Odds do you think 2 new players will be part of this weekend during the 2 games? Paraded.
See what happens.
I don't think so, though, not from what I've heard. Corney, 17.5, Zapata, 15, Cisco, 3, Paquetá, 40 to 45 million, over 70 million of quality. Yeah, I agree with that.
Doesn't Zapata play for Atlanta?
Yeah, he's basically going to have his...
So he's going to be at St. James's this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, he might come run out that pitch, look at the crowd and go, I'd fancy a bit of that. You just don't know, do you?
Everton apparently played the mighty Blackpool off the park today, so they must be safe now. Yes, definitely. Adam, got to respect Adam's promotion of the women's team as very few seem to do that. I retweet everything and comment on it and try to get it noticed as much as possible as well, Dan. I think the women's team needs to be huge and it helps with our FFP as well. So it's good work from Adam. I'd like to give myself a little pat on the back as well. Adam is living the dream, exactly. Got the shirt from DHgate, £12.35. I'm having to skip over quite a lot of comments, unfortunately. You'll be able to attract a sponsor that can use under new rules, as PIF have a stake or interest in just about every company in the world. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Welcome, Jordan. Anything I said, do Chelsea have enough money for transfers, or is it custom now to go down the leverage route? I don't know. It's good because this new owner's obviously come in and spent a lot of money at Chelsea, hasn't he? He's done a lot of bits. Thoughts on Depay from Barca? Would he be a top signing, Pete?
Definitely would take him.
Yeah, I would.
17.5 million. That's snap your hands off to Hawking. That's a steal now these days.
It is. Gary?
No, I would snap him for 17. Play right wing, play striker.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Kind of solves both positions, doesn't it?
Yeah. But if we've been offered him for 17 million, then I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do that deal. So that tells me he might not. Well, he might not want to come. That's what it tells me. But
I mean, he tried the Premier League before and flopped, didn't he? So
yeah.
Mauro, what about you?
For 70.5 million, if the wages are not too high, I would take a risk on him.
Yeah.
Take a
I
chance.
think we all agree that Cornet is worth 17.5 million as well. But there's obviously a reason why we haven't done that deal.
Exactly.
It's got to be. I think Eddie would do something with Werner.
I wouldn't have team up in and out of.
Exactly.
He's not very popular on this channel, is he?
No, he's not. Draxler just been reported now. Pinch of salt as a French press, but curious one. I've seen his name mentioned a few times, but again, I just can't see it. Arsenal looking deadly at the moment. I tell you, Jesus was a brilliant signing for them, and I'm devastated we didn't get him. But again, no European football, so isn't Cavani like 50-year-old? Have you seen the picture of Zlatan today, though, by the way, at 41? I mean, look at me at 40. When you look at him at 41, he's just a Greek god. I'd take him any day of the week in our team, straight away. Limited funds and buying from English clubs is I can't pronounce that. Axomrin. It's difficult, isn't it? But we do have money. We just don't know how much money we've got. Loads from overseas fail in English. They do. I think Nufc real estate owners can only pump 90 million into a club by sponsoring themselves. I think the thing because PIF they own so many companies or part of so many companies, I think there'll be a certain stake limit where it might be all right, potentially. I don't know. We'll only see. Only I say ha. Depay is on over 210k a week, I think. Exactly, that's where the issue is. You have to half that. You can tell the DH Gate ones as all the names in the Premier League badges. Gary, amen. I don't know what that's all about. Have you had a DH Gate top before? I have, but it didn't last very long, unfortunately. But again, you probably get it faster than what you're getting off Castoria at the moment. They're absolutely terrible. I'm going to Photoshop Wood's face on that Zlatan pic just for you, Wells. Thanks, Joe Linton. It's really nice of you. I appreciate that. Right, we're nearly at the end of the show, guys. Don't forget, if you'd like to become a member, the link is at the top of the chat. If you'd like to donate before we go, please hit the $sign. It all goes back into the channel, into prizes, and to charity as well. Quick shout out again, Liam Blair, Eddie Contres, and Gary Dunn. You've all won one of the pinned St James's Park badges. Please contact me and I will send it out to you. I've sent 6 out already. Those are the 3 left. And for anyone who missed the start of the show, I am going to do a big raffle. £2.50 a ticket, or 3 for a £5, or 7 for £10. It's going to be Alan Shearer's testimonial replica shirt signed by Shearer himself as the #1 prize. I'm also getting 2 replica shirts from 1995, I think, 94, 95, signed by Kevin Keegan, a home one and away one. So that'll be 2nd and 3rd prize. And then I'll also give away, there'll be another 6 of those crests, these ones. They will be part of the raffle as well. I'm waiting for the raffle books to come through. I'm waiting for the shirts to come back from Kevin Keegan before I will start the raffle, because I want to make sure I've got them. But please keep an eye out for that if you are interested. We'll advertise it through the channel and through Twitter. Couple of last little ones before we go. Adidas for sure. I would love Adidas back again. They were mint. Buy from Cashley, get it next day. I mean, at the end of the day, they get most of the money anyway now, don't they? So you might as well. He's not our owner anymore. So, you know, if you want the shirt that badly, remember and like before leaving the video, guys. Yeah, thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Not Under Armour, they promote trophy hunting. Ooh, I didn't know that. That's not good. Trophy hunting's disgusting. I don't like it. But that's the end of the show. Thanks for watching, everyone. Pete, what have you got coming up?
Just again, there'll be more news if any news comes out from the club in regards to transfers, in and out goods. Live show, it's going to have to be either Saturday night or Sunday because of the game on Friday night.
Yeah, so it's Friday night and Saturday. We've got 2 games.
2 friendly games.
Yeah, I'm gutted. I was going to be doing the watch along on Tuesday. Then I remembered I've made plans to meet Sean, who I haven't seen for ages. So I'm devastated. I'm like, fuck, I want to do a watch along and watch the game. I can't watch it now. We'll be back. Oh, God. Possibly tomorrow night. No, I don't think I'll be back tomorrow night now. It's too late. Friday night, if you guys are available. I think we'll be Friday. Might be doing a watch along for it. Saturday, I'm at the game. Yes. And then we'll have this show back on the Sunday night again. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care till then.